Hi, Professor. I'm back from London. Oh, and before I forget, here's the essay you asked for.
That's great, James. Well done. Let's hope it's up to the standard I expect from you.
Yes, indeed.
James, today I was hoping we might look a little more closely at the themes of intergovernmentalism and federalism at the heart of the European Union, in particular in the context of the European Union's institutional framework.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, tell me, which do you think is the EU's most European or federalist institution?
I don't know, perhaps the court or the European Central Bank?
Well, the ECB definitely not, as it represents the existence of a two-speed union, as only some member states are members of the euro. But yes, the court is only concerned with European matters, given that it has exclusive jurisdiction over matters arising under the laws of the European Union. Perhaps I should have qualified my question, and so I will ask it again. Which institution is the most federal as regards the lawmaking process?
Well, let's see. The institutions most involved in the adoption of European law are the Commission and the European Council, as regards the adoption of legislative proposals and policy, and the Council of the European Union and the Parliament as regards its adoption.
Yes, indeed. So which one do you consider to be the most European or federalist in character?
I guess it's a choice between the Commission and the Parliament.
Come on, James, don't make me beg you for an answer. Which one?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Parliament members are elected to adopt European law, and so Parliament appears to be predominantly concerned with European matters. However, in reality, they reflect the concerns of their electors, and these are mainly nationalist in character. Indeed, the election of anti-European Union Eurosceptic members to the European Parliament is, I think, proof of this. So I would have to say it is the European Commission.
Okay, and why would you say this?
Well, traditionally, the European Commission and the commissioners at its head have always tended to put European interests first, and so there is a strong tradition to this effect. Also, commissioners are expressly required to swear a oath to put the interests of the European Union first over national concerns, and so there appears to be an emphasis on requiring commissioners to be European, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, I do, and I think you're right. That said, member states lobby to have commissioners in posts that are of particular interest to them, so as to ensure that a particular area is under the responsibility of a commissioner sharing their ideological vision.
Yes, but an ideological vision or belief is not the same thing as a national interest. Ideology transcends national concerns, although in reality they can often occupy the same territory, so as to speak.
Okay, and what is your opinion as to the European Council being made an EU institution under the terms of the Lisbon Treaty?
I would say that it has been good for intergovernmentalism and bad for the European Commission, and also perhaps for the Council of the European Union.
And why would you say that?
Well, it would appear that the European Council rather than the Commission has become the primary driver of European policy, and this is all the more so given the problems with the euro and generally the growth of nationalism amongst EU citizens who appear, in some member states at least, to be becoming increasingly Eurosceptic. Under the EC Treaty, the European Commission was intended to be the engine of European integration.
So, is this a problem?
Well, I guess it is for some. However, the heads of state have always had power and exercised it. De Gaulle's empty chair policy at the end of the 60s is proof of that. Also, the Kohl-Mitterrand axis was the main driver behind the successful creation of the internal market and the creation of the euro. I guess it is worrying that because now it has become official, and perhaps more importantly because the member state leaders do not appear to share a common European vision, at least not to the same extent as was the case throughout the 80s and 90s.
Very good. So for you, is it just an example of realpolitik?
Yes, with the extension of the European integration process into new areas, new issues of national character have arisen. The euro is an example, an extreme example of that. It is natural then that to a certain extent the answers to these problems be thrashed out in a forum prioritising national concerns, and supposedly once this is done, then European labelled solutions can be put in place.
But this has led to a brake being put on the federalist locomotive.
And I suppose the worry is that it might never get going again. Certainly, it is hard to envisage this occurring in the short term, given that it now has to pull 28 wagons, all wanting to go at different speeds and in different directions.
Yes, this is especially true as the locomotive is primarily German and one country cannot make a union. We have already seen that twice before in 1918 and 1945. Indeed, come to think of it, Is that not the main reason the EU was established?